So you're looking at getting started in the aquarium hobby. Well, first off, I want to welcome you to the aquarium hobby. If you do choose to become a part of this hobby, it's a fantastic hobby. I love it. I'm actually been keeping fish for 15 plus years now, and I am also getting my master's in aquaculture and aquatic science. It just sort of shows you how much I love fish and everything related to that. So today I want to share with you 5 tips to help you get started in your aquarium keeping and to help you avoid some mistakes or pitfalls or downfalls that a lot of new aquarium keepers and fish keepers end up making. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aquarium Live with Andrews. Today we're going to be talking about tips for new aquarium keepers and ways to sort of get prepared for keeping your aquarium. So let's get into the first one right here. The first one will be researching the animals, the plants, the fish, shrimp, snails, salmon, whatever you're keeping. Research them before you actually go out and buy anything, because that's going to very largely dictate what type of tank you're going to get, what type of filtration you're going to get, whether or not you can keep plants, or whether or not you can only do a fish-only tank or a species-only tank. So that is like the most important thing that I would say on all of this is do your research on the fish that you want to keep, how large they get, full grown, whether or not you can keep them in the tank that you can afford or have at that current time. That would be the biggest thing that I recommend is that. The next thing after that, once you've decided on a particular fish and particular fishes or setup or whatnot, would be you'd want to really look into what the nitrification cycle is and how to cycle an aquarium and how fish and bacteria work in symbiotic relationships with one another that allows them to stay within water and not die from the waste that is excreted from their gills. And I'll leave a link to my video up here about the nitrification cycle, and it starts off at a very high level and goes down to a very fine level. So it would be great for getting just a basic understanding, as well as if you want a more detailed explanation of the nitrogen cycle, that would also be another good video for that. So going along with the nitrification cycle, the third thing will be don't over clean your tanks. You don't need to bleach your tank. You don't need to rinse it out with hot water. You don't need to remove all of the substrate and all of the decor and put your fish into another bowl and clean everything out of your tank and put everything back together. You don't want to do that. And hopefully, after learning about the nitrification cycle and all the beneficial bacteria that we have in our tanks that we rely upon to keep our fish healthy, you'll understand why doing a deep clean like that is actually harmful to the fish and not beneficial. Because you can also leave residual chemicals in your system, especially using bleach or other hard acids or cleaning products that could also kill your fish. You'll be trying to provide for them the best that you think and cleaning it out very thoroughly, but actually you're causing them a great deal of harm. So don't overclean your tank, and once you learn about the nitrification cycle, you understand why overcleaning your tank is such a bad thing to do for the overall health and longevity of your fish and plants and shrimp and everything else you're keeping inside of your aquariums. So the fourth tip is a financial piece of advice, and not finances in your other realms of life, as I'm not qualified to speak on that, but as a fish keeper, I am qualified to speak about the finances of aquarium filters. And you don't need to purchase the most expensive aquarium filter out there. You don't need to purchase the newest aquarium filter out there. You just need to purchase an aquarium filter that matches with the size of your tank and the amount of fish that you're going to be putting into that system. And only you can be able to decide, only you can prevent wildfires, only you can decide what type of filtration is going to work best for your fish. And that's going to be based upon the size of your tank and the inhabitants that you're keeping. Just a very vague generalization here. You don't probably want to put a canister filter on a 10-gallon tank with a betta fish because you're going to tire that fish out. But putting that same canister filter on a 55 or 75-gallon tank will be a very good option to create adequate circulation within your system to make sure you are removing all those solids from the tank itself, putting it into the filter so you can remove them out of the filter and out of the system. A subnote of this would be 4A. And if you have a filter like a hang-on-back filter or canister filters or internal filters that have those replacement cartridges, just use those. Once they're used up, don't buy any more. That's a scam. That's how they make their money. And you don't really need that. Go out and get some sponge filters. I personally use some of the Fluval ones that are meant for the Fluval Aquaclears. They're replacement sponges. And I just pack my filter full of those sponges that are reusable, and I can use them time and time again, and they don't get thrown out after just one singular use. So that will save you money. The fifth tip would be to find other fish keepers in your area, and that can be relatively easy to do because there are a lot of us out here. And the reason why I say find other fish keepers is because those fish keepers that have been keeping them for 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 60 years are a wealth of knowledge that can help you, when you're getting into the aquarium hobby, avoid the same pitfalls or mistakes that they had when they were first starting their systems. There are tons of things that I could say here and include in more tips, but that is where those people, the other more experienced fish keepers and hobbyists, can help you, the new hobbyist, not make the same mistakes that they made when they were starting off. They might be able to tell you that the fish that you were looking at in the first section don't go very well together. They have different water parameter requirements that you may not necessarily know or think that it would be that big of an issue, or that filtration method is actually not a good one because it's going to suck up the fish that you have in your system and you're going to end up with no fish in your tanks, or that fish is going to get really large and eat all the other fish. Things like that are what they can be able to provide for you, as well as a way for you guys to talk about and learn and just share your love and passion of fish tanks with one another. It can get sometimes taxing on significant others, wives, spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, you talking about fish all the time. And going to aquarium club meetings and hanging out with other people and having friends like that is just fantastic and phenomenal. And it is part of the reason why you stay in the fish hobby is that these people are fantastic, and it's a great way to meet tons of different people from tons of different backgrounds and share your love of fish with one another. So if you guys have found these tips helpful, I'd ask you guys like the video and check out some of the other videos at the end here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a blessed day. See ya.